सबकी नजरें यांगोंग गैलेक्टिकोस के ऊपर हैं, लेकिन इसी के साथ नेट जाएगा मर्नत बॉय को, ये नेट टैग करेगा, नॉक करेगा एंड बैक लाइंस के ऊपर स्मोक्स की वजह से टीम जीजी की तरफ से एक एग्रेसिव पुश आता हुआ में नजर नहीं आ रहा। डी प्लस किया के ऊपर और साल लोन एचपी मर्नत बॉय को रिवाइव करना इज absolutely out of the options, out of the box, but there you go, सेडन की पोजीशन जिसकी हम बात कर रहे थे वर्कआउट करती हुई टीम डी प्लस किया के लिए एंड टीम जीजी ऑन द अदर साइड नॉक ले चुकी है। फर्स्ट नॉक जीजी के ऊपर पड़ता हुआ इस 4 वर्सेस 4 सिचुएशन
ले जाएगी भाई
सेडन का। सेडन वंस अगेन यहां पर वंडर किड बनते हुए एक के बाद दूसरा किल यहां पर उनकी तरफ से कंफर्म पॉसिबली होता हुआ नजर आएगा। नेट जाता है, टिक्सी को रिपोजिशन करने पर मजबूर करता है, लेकिन दूसरी तरफ नेट जाएगा। टीम डी प्लस किया टेक डाउन कर चुकी है, लेकिन पुश किया जाएगा उनकी तरफ से 2 वर्सेस 4 सिचुएशन। सेडन इज फॉरवर्ड, सेडन यहां पर एस12 के चलाते हैं, टिक्सी की पोजीशन को पता नहीं रहेगी, लेकिन मैटेक यहां पर डीबीएस के साथ एक प्लेयर टीम डी के
ले गया भाई
डाउन होते हुए 1 वर्सेस 2 के ऊपर बात आती है और फेबियन को भी ऑलमोस्ट यहां पर गाड़ी के नीचे देकर टीम जीजी स्टाइल के साथ ये मैच जीतती हुई। व्हाट जस्ट हैपन आदि, व्हाट जस्ट हैपन 2 वर्सेस 4 सिचुएशन किस तरह से डी प्लस किया के हाथों से निकल गई। डी प्लस किया के प्लेयर्स भी यहां पर सर खुजाते हमें नजर आए। बिल्कुल 1 मिनट के अंदर एक बग्गी और एक प्लेयर पूरे के पूरे मैच को टर्न अराउंड कर गया।
जी बिल्कुल एहसन, जी ग्लैडिएटर्स फाइनली काफ़ी खातिर खा इस मैच के अंदर उनका अंदाज़ बयान हमें देखने को मिला। और इसके अलावा मुझे डी प्लस किया को देखकर बहुत खुशी हो रही है। आज के दिन के मेरे ख्याल से अगर हाईएस्ट पॉइंट स्कोरर्स की अगर हम बात करें तो डी प्लस किया का नाम भी वहाँ पर आएगा। लेकिन जी ग्लैडिएटर्स फाइनली इट वाज देयर मैच, आखिरी रैंगल था PMWI ऑलस्टार्स ग्लोबल स्टेज का। और अब आगे क्या करते हैं अगले मैचेस के अंदर वीरामार शुरू होने जा रहे हैं ख़वातीन व हज़रात, और जो कंपटीशन है वो बहुत ही क्लोज चलता हुआ हमें दिखाई दे रहा है, इतना करीब है। 4 टीमें हैं ऐसी जो क्वालिफाई करना चाहती हैं, लेकिन उनमें से शायद 1 या 2 ही अपनी जगह बना पाएंगे। कोई भी नहीं जानता वो नाम कौन से होंगे, लेकिन आप लोगों से गुजारिश है स्ट्रीम को लाइक ज़रूर करिएगा। एंड थैंक यू सो मच जो लोग अपना वक्त निकाल कर आए हैं, अपना कीमती वक्त निकाल कर आकर हमें देख रहे हैं, इस सारे कंपटीशन को आप लोग सुन रहे हैं, थैंक यू सो मच। और आप लोगों की वजह से ही ये सारा कुछ हो रहा है, सो इसको आगे लेकर जाना भी आप लोगों का ही काम है, हम सब का है ऑब्वियसली। एसन काफ़ी बेहतर मैच रहा है, आखिरी 2 मैचेस हैं, 4 ऐसे नाम हैं जिन्होंने क्वालिफाई करना है, लेकिन अनफॉर्चुनेटली 2 कर पाएंगे। सो ये सिचुएशन, इस सिचुएशन के बारे में आप क्या?
एब्सोल्युटली, इनमें से इन आखिरी 2 मैचेस के अंदर स्पेशली मिरामार के अंदर जिन 2 टीम्स की तरफ से कंसिस्टेंट परफॉर्मेंस आएगी वो ही निकल पाएंगे। बिकॉज अब मिरामार एक ऐसा मैप है जो आपके सामने ऑप्शन रखता है कि वेदर यू वांट टू डोमिनेट और नॉट। बिकॉज मिरामार एक ऐसा एक्सटेंसिव मैप है जहाँ पर रिजेस टू रिजेस फाइट, स्पेशली वो टीम्स ही ज़्यादा बेहतर खेलती हुई नजर आती हैं जिनके अंदर कॉन्फिडेंस है कि वो ओपन साइड के ऊपर बाहर जो ओपन एरिया है उसके अंदर अच्छी फाइट्स दे सकें। बिकॉज मिरामार इज़ मोस्टली अबाउट रिजेस, कंपाउंड्स इतना प्ले में नहीं रहते। इवन दो अगर किसी अर्बन सिटी के ऊपर कहीं जाकर बन भी गया सर्कल तो वो भी आखिरकार जो है वो शहर से बाहर पुश हो जाता है सर्कल, फाइनल सर्कल्स। तो टीम्स वही हमेशा मिरामार के अंदर जीतती हुई नज़र आती हैं जो कंसिस्टेंटली ओपन जो है वो फाइट्स के अंदर आती हैं, थर्ड पार्टीज़ को जो है वो ज़्यादा उसके अंदर पार्टिसिपेट करती हुई नज़र आती हैं। बट एनी हाउ गाइज, डिस्कशन को हम कंटिन्यू करेंगे एक छोटे से ब्रेक के बाद। I'm pretty sure आप पहले भी कहीं नहीं गए, अब भी कहीं नहीं जाएंगे। We will be right back.
जीजी वाले ले जी
गाडी उनीहरुसँग बचेको थिएन, गाडी छँदै थिएन, मिल्टामै सर्कल सकिरहेको थियो, गाडी कहाँ हुन्छ? मिल्टामा तपाईँ हुनुहुन्थ्यो, रोटेट गरेर
proper nade range, and that's Docile actually getting himself want to start things up.
We saw it back in their home region of now Europe in the championships too, and The fact is that they've been a little bit disappointing in recent times, but this compound they were holding when I think there were 7, 8 teams fighting in Milta. We didn't even start. About Milta. All the teams were just trying to survive, or as long as they possibly could. The fact they could play that compound surrounded by fields on the rooftop, Vampire, Aegon IA were not able to cause any issues for them in the southern edge, and then when they have to focus their attention on D+, well, the buggy did the rest.
You mentioned it perfect. The proactiveness of making sure that nobody came near them, and if they were able to their party up. They were able to just do that.
The aggressivity.
Aggressivity.
You know what? That
Aggressivity.
The play that was so nice that we're gonna watch it twice. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Actually, at the final moments of that last match, and start to break it down a little bit. Again, the nade opened things up. You can see D+ Kia pushing through the smoke as well. But the thing is, when you push through smoke, they're gonna see you pretty much first, and they meet the hands of a shotgun to the face. The nice DBS.
Yeah, a DBS, I mean, really well played, but that's the thing. It took so much of the attention. Like,
you just see,
what is going on? Picks up 1, picks up 2, just closes.
It's great, honestly. Like, it's fantastic to see final matches like that. And we talk about Sparks. Like, obviously, D+ has been playing well, but like Gladiators, finally, the pressure off of getting a victory. We know they're slow starters. They get the dub. They get themselves pretty secure now going through into the main event, but that's a good start.
The thing too is for D+ Kia, like that could have been the extra points that they needed, right, to get them closer to DRS and push them for that second place. Because even though you are going to be qualified to be making it to the main event, what about the money at the end of the day? Like, you want to be able to be in that second place. Yeah, nobody's going to be able to catch Vampire, so gotta go for the next best thing.
You're at the point where now teams in the top 7, if they get themselves these big games, it pretty much secures their position in the main tournament. And now there's not a lot of slots remaining where you can make it up, so there's very little space for improvement.
I mean, let alone get into the main event. Like, the standings are still so close that you could, like, make another $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 if you just get a victory under your belt. Let's take a look at the match rankings, right? We're talking a lot about Gladiators, a lot about D+ Kia, but how many points did they get in this last match? 22 and 18 respectively. So a good job by them to help close the gap again. DRS, they still get 10, right? So the gap's going to be closed a little bit by D+, not as much as they were hoping for. But Falcons another 11. Bezex even got on the board here with 4. And Yangon Galacticos, we haven't talked about them too much. They were down, I believe, 16th place, you said at the start of the day?
They were low.
Yeah, 10 points isn't going to be enough.
There's a reason why.
I do like their approach of the game. They saw that mess happening in Milta. They're like, okay, which most teams probably want to avoid is they want to avoid whatever mess was happening inside Milta, so they just rotate north. They crashed onto RA Esports, I believe, at one point, which actually was a really strong push from them. I think the most aggressive we've ever seen Yangon Galactic. The mess was happening. They were low.
Yeah, 10 points is
They crashed onto G, took too much.
Asking that question.
We're just being honest here. I mean, at this point, I don't feel like they deserve to be at the main event, especially out of the defending champion. And the reason why we're saying that too, and we're talking about this, Max, we're saying when you expect the PMGC champion, you think of Nova, right? They were able to just dominate everything after they won the first PMGC, then go back the second year and win it, and then going even into the third year, they were the favorite ones to win it too. I just don't get that feeling out of SCG.
It's night and day, very clearly. I do not know what's been happening yet.
I will say one thing to your point is that you look at Nova and like PELs and they're not like winning all the time. They get into PMGC and they win there, right? A little bit of a different beast, but I do agree with the sentiment that, I mean, this is similar to a PMGC finals, right? You have 3 days of matches. You got to be able to perform here. Maybe we can take actually a look here as we bounce back to Gladiators at their stats in the last match, because we've been very harsh on, well, not very harsh, we've been harsh. Trust me, you haven't seen me very harsh on Kitsune. I'm curious about how the stats go across the board here, as we do see him actually, he's got the lowest damage, but he had the biggest play.
Yeah, the biggest play, of course, with the buggy at the end. But Tixie's been a little bit present, and especially, we didn't talk too much about Meku. He was gathering so much information from those rooftops here, 7. He was gathering info on Aegon IA and, of course, Vampire in the south, and also gathering early info before going for the game-winning play onto D+ Kia, onto Yangon Galacticos. So he was very pivotal for the success of this team in this match. And yeah, the moment that the circle shifted away from Milta, their one compound, the stocks risen instantly pretty much, because it was so valuable at the time.
Yeah, the way they were able to pace, and you said it perfect too, the way they were able to just gather a lot of information when they were on top of the roof, being able to their party fights as well. Overall, they did exactly what they needed to do to get that chicken there.
Yeah, it's so valuable when you can play roof and you can have that extra elevation, and when no other teams have the chance of doing that, you just got free info, while all the teams are just scrambling trying to get a game plan together with limited information.
One thing though, I do feel like if it would have been for that buggy, it would have ended up losing.
Yeah, I mean,
we all saw the name.
It was getting close.
We all saw the name popped. I was like, okay, it's over. D+ Kia is gonna win, and all of a sudden the buggy just came out of nowhere.
Though, to be honest, we talked a lot about gladiators. We didn't talk too much about D+ Kia, right? And D+ Kia, the way that they were able to avoid also all the fights happening in Milta, playing the more northern edge, just constantly shitting on the edge of the circle every single time a circle came in, and also especially holding on to that utility. That opening nade from Sadon was absolutely massive. If they don't get that nade, I think gladiators win it even easier than if they didn't have the buggy play. But yeah, the D+ Kia pretty much always have a few utility remaining.
Buggy play.
I don't know, man.
Is strong.
You think about it, right? Because they got the confirm on one and they got the knock onto another with the nade, then they decide to push through the smoke because they're like, okay.
चलो इनकी बच्चों सुन लेते इंग्लिश थोड़ी समझ आ रही है.
Aggressive, they got to a false sense of security, and that might have cost them the loss.
They had to push. The blue zone was right behind them. They literally had no chance, and if they delay it any further, the smoke start to dissipate. And I think Yangon Galacticos have an angle on the eastern edge, so you have to go for the push. I think that of course give them a little bit of a confidence boost, but even without, they have to commit to the play.
You can see D+ Kia still wasn't expecting that.
Especially when you have a smoke and you have a buggy coming in, you're like, how do you react? You can't do anything.
Yeah, well, we're actually going to see D+ in the stats here across the board for the team here in this last match. And Sadon, like the opening nade out of him, phenomenal. But unfortunately, it wasn't going to be enough in the end. The nade was good enough to stop the two players of G Gliders, but it wasn't enough to stop the buggy out of Kitsune. As you can see, 5 eliminations coming in for him. You know, Forrest and Fabian, I mean, D+ have been a little bit quiet. Usually Forrest and Fabian were the ones to really kind of push forward. What's up, son?
But something that I am seeing, though, it's not just Forrest and Fabian, right? It's good to see Sadon being able to step up, and something that we always say is not just going to be either one player or 2 players. It needs to be everybody in the team being able to put up the numbers when they need to be, and that's a perfect example right there that this team, D+ Kia, whenever we do make it to the main event, they could have a chance at winning everything.
Yeah, and not only him, actually, Osal is kind of playing the role of Ravenclaw for Vampire Esports, where he's the mostly scouting, gathering info, and getting off angle for his team. So sure, the stats might not be as ever present for him, but Osal is also doing a really big part of the work for the team.
Okay, what about their 2 stats against each other? I'm actually curious because we saw the healing was extremely low to both teams. We saw the eliminations, I think favor, if I'm not mistaken, D+ there. But when it goes in the head-to-head damage, I don't know. Who are you favoring? Give it to me, Max. Prediction. If you get this right, you don't have to do the eyebrow cut.
Wait. So re-say again, because I think I missed a part of that. Wait. Oh, okay.
You're getting the cut.
Forrest.
You know what? I'll take it. Let's see actually a head-to-head here between those 2 teams and see if Forrest was the correct answer.
It is.
It was.
It is.
All right, so only 7 has to get a cut.
Wait. Hold on a second. Forrest. Oh, it doesn't work like that?
No. You should have said Alpha 7.
That's the equivalent for you, yeah. I mean, pretty close, of course, but mostly what was happening for D+ Kia here is that they had some nice high ground elevation north. They were mostly checking teams like Yangon Galacticos, RA Esports, and the teams trying to escape outside of Milta. So they were able to get a lot of eliminations a bit early in the game, while you're looking at Gladiators, they just picked up all the elims at the end when they were trying to go for that game-winning play.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, we do obviously have a little bit of a turn happen here in our matches, right? That was our last air angle of the day. Going over to double Miramar here. This is where things get a little bit interesting. And Max, going into this, I want to remind the viewers at home, which teams are you really looking forward to seeing here on Miramar? Which teams have that little bit of an extra power level on this battleground?
Aegon IA is the one I'm still looking at. They got himself that big win that pushed him in a race to potentially reach that position. And looking back in PMPL Pakistan, it was their standout map. And UZM has been doing better. Okay. Weirdly enough, Ghost is still subbed out, which I find a little bit surprising, Seven. So I'd like to see him being a little bit more present. I think he played 3 matches yesterday. Not super successful, maybe can give it another shot today, but I need to see Aegon IA do well here because this is the map that they are renowned for.
For me, it's going to be D+ Kia, actually, with the way they were able to finish here off Erangel, and it's a team
that
it's been able to perform fairly well when we talk about Miramar. I think they're going to be able to make that push for 2nd place.
इधर जाने के लिए भाई फुल हेवी टीम होनी चाहिए 4 फुल आरामी प्लेयर होने चाहिए फिर जा सकते हैं हम इधर.
Look at this guy, like an extra $15,000-$25,000. It's not a big deal to him. He's like,
guys, like Toko or share karo.
Pride, actually, if I'm not mistaken, for like D+ Kia, because if I'm not mistaken, like South Korea hasn't really been in a position to put up really big placements when we get to these international events, and this could be one of the first ones they're able to do so and really make a name for themselves in their region.
I mean, they're always able to qualify for these events. I mean, as we said, when we see teams from Japan and South Korea that always qualify, it's always the same players, the same teams, the same orgs. But yeah, when it comes to actually ranking high on those positions, it doesn't happen too often. So I feel like this is definitely by far, I would say, the strongest South Korea has.
पी के एक्शन को लेकर उर्दू ट्रांसमिशन के ऊपर मैं हूँ आपका दोस्त एहसन, मेरे साथ आदि मौजूद हैं। इस दफ़ा मुझे होस्ट कहने के बजाय मैं दोस्त कह रहा हूँ उसके लिए माजूद जो मेरे दोस्त नहीं बनना चाहते। आदि वेलकम बैक, आप तो मेरे दोस्त हैं, क्या कहेंगे आप अभी तक की जो टूर्नामेंट की सिचुएशन है, स्पेशली जो लीडर बोर्ड की सिचुएशन है उसके का?
आई थिंक सो ये आखिरी 2 मैच बहुत कुछ डिफाइन करने वाले हैं, बहुत ज़्यादा चीज़ें कुछ अदला बदली होने वाली है ओवरऑल स्टैंडिंग्स पर। हो सकता है, मुझे बज़ाहिरी तौर के ऊपर ऐसे लग रहा है कि शायद हमें कुछ इंटेंशनल ड्रॉप क्लैशेस होते हुए नजर आए, जैसा कि आपने इस पिछले मैच में देखा। अपनी मिज़िक्स गई थी इमोनिक्स साइड को एलिमिनेट करने के लिए, ऑब्वियसली उनको अपने लिए कुछ पॉइंट्स चाहिए थे, लेकिन अनफॉर्चुनेटली उनका वो प्लान कामयाब नहीं हो सका।
अरे मेरा नेट सही तो चल रहा है यार उधर।
Big Miramar match coming up right here, right now. It is time, guys. It comes down to the final hour. This game and one more left, and we are crowning our PMWI Allstars Stage champion. And Tony K, I have a feeling might just have
face cam.
You know what? He
camera.
No, I actually was
camera नहीं लगाया जानी.
So close. 32 to 33. Oh, he is down to the wire for that one.
Unbelievable. Highest damage from Schweppes.
This guy extra जानी camera not लगाएंगे.
Tony K, of course, up on there. Tixie with the most
सिर्फ बच्चोदियाँ करेंगे अंग्रेजों के साथ बस.
For the Gladiators. What a crazy
आयत वालों comeback करो यार, क्या करते?
I mean, it is coming down to where everybody is pulling out every single stop they can to get the chicken dinner.
I love how the teams are surpassing my expectations as well, because you know, I'm a Brit, I'm a sarcastic, pessimistic individual. It rains, we're like, yeah, this is to be expected, you know, being British, you know. But I thought to myself, that finish with the field being the way it was, I was like, this is going to be pretty clean cut. Anything but. Anything but. These teams are making magic happen right before our eyes, and I'm looking forward to just a little bit more of that.
जब overlay लगाते हो ना तो फिर ये बैक वाली स्क्रीन नहीं दिखती है, क्या सीन होता है?
It's turned up here. We are in Miramar.
WhatsApp पे समझा मुझे.
We got a nice, beautiful playing path here. Alpha 7 is going to get El Pozo. That's the place they love to drop.
सबर मैं तुझे SS भेजता हूँ.
Towards the center of this zone. And Team Falcons all the way down south. And this is going to be an all-out battle for one of these 6 slots into the main tournament.
I feel if we see any Team Falcons eliminations on the main screen, we're going to be seeing or hearing the crowd every single time now. Because it's getting down to the wire for them. They want to see Falcons actually move on through here. But also you guys at home can be winning some great stuff as well. If you go out and check the mobile event center, you can check out some special PMWI rewards. So make sure to go and look.
Get it while it's hot. Get it while it's hot, folks. Oh my goodness. So taking a look at the leaderboards, that's where my eyes are locked. Okay, Team Falcons are in that 6th place position. Now remember everybody, it's 6 teams moving on to the final tournament. And since Alpha 7 have already qualified, it makes it the top 7 moving on. So Aegon I8, they're at that cusp right there. Infinity IQ, Team FaZe, S2G, Bigatron. I mean, what do you think the cutoff is?
What do I think it's going to be in 2 games time?
Comeback मार सकती है.
Oh, you mean or the teams that can try and strike out?
Yes.
Okay, the teams that can try and
92 points जीती यार.
strike out. I still
World
think
Edition.
Bigatron
Sheikha.
has an opportunity,
Farad
has a
Atay.
chance, but they're going to have to go big 2 games in a row, man. And I don't know if that's possible. They did play Miramar well. They do have victories on Miramar. From day one, we saw it in the fields of Impala. So there is a world where, you know, maybe they're just good on the desert, and maybe they can make it happen. Maybe they can make it happen.
I think I have to agree with you. You know, I'm working my math calculator inside my head right now, and I think Bigatron, 11th place on up, they still have a chance. But it's in this match. If Bigatron does not pull out some serious points here, it's all over.
Because the important thing is that the barrier hasn't moved dramatically in 1 game, and that could quite easily materialize in 2 games coming up as well, right? It's not out of the realms of possibility that during 3 games, some teams just don't have the easiest time alongside that barrier. But I could, unfortunately for them, they won't be making it, but they're looking for a little bit extra prize pool wherever they can, because every step up the ladder, every rung is a significant chunk of change.
And I'll tell you what, one thing we don't talk about a lot, right, and is now that we have reached the finale of this stage, teams at the bottom that know for a fact, like Ikert, that there's just no chance we're going to make it at this point, they could do whatever they want. You know, they can decide how they want to play it. Do they want to move up a little bit, get some more of that prize pool? It's about an extra $2 grand every single time you move up. Let's see what they can do against Infinity IQ here. Betsu! Right out the side, picking up, you know, strategy from the Gladiators. And oh my goodness, just dominating.
Bensu looking good here to start things off. Bensu with the double elimination. He gets the first one. He says, hello, anybody else here? Because right now, he's absolutely rocking it. That's a good start here for Infinity IQ, who are in 8th. Any little points they can get right now is absolutely dramatic.
That is 2 points closer to Aegon I8. So if you're Aegon I8, Team Falcons, you're biting your nails right now because this is getting insane. Nice long-range shots coming out here in the early game. DRS Gaming got a nice solid 10 points to move up. That's going to get them in a really good position in 2nd place. And you can just see them right now just trying to get all the info they can, getting ready for the late game.
All right. So, yeah, as you're saying, for some of those teams, especially coming in from those later positions, for a circle like this, I mean, there's going to be so many entry points. Miramar is a weird battleground in that it has kind of channels of rotation because of the way the high ground works. Oftentimes, you kind of do want to use the roads because otherwise you're just actually spending a lot more time going up and down and up and down and up and down those hills. So you can actually lay, not traps per se, because I don't think we're going to see many teams do that on those rotation channels. But we're going to take a compound near those rotation channels, and if something does come past, you know, we'll be happy to take some shots.
Oh yeah, you got to at this point, especially because, you know, we look at DRS, they're in 2nd place, like I mentioned earlier, D plus Kia right below them with a 10-point differential. And even though it is just a 10-point differential, that is a $25,000 difference between 2nd and 3rd place. So you know D plus Kia are giving it everything they have right now.
Giving it the beans.
Yes.
The beans. That's right. I'm going to turn you into a Brit yet.
Oh, Jukes. Well, you know what? I heard that your beans are out of a can. Mine are refried.
Actually, I don't like them.
Oh.
I know I've alienated the whole of the United Kingdom just then, but you know what? I don't like them.
But you know what? I think that is a niche market. I think there's plenty. Let's look at Missile. He keeping an eye on the prize right now. You know, he's making sure his feet are ready because he knows he's probably climbing some mountain here in just a little bit.
Yeah, that's
it. You do not want to slip.
That must be it. That must be it. But anyway, we've got ourselves Silas looking from a distance, trying to hit those.
What a knock, baby!
Wow! Straight onto R8 here, who lose one for their troubles. SUG trying to keep themselves in it. They're in 9th. So all of these teams looking for those barrier positions are actually getting the elims to start things off.
You know, one of my favorite things about these tournaments, you know, in such a global stage, you know, we're talking this in English, but, you know, there's also multiple languages. And for those of you guys watching right now, it's always cool to check out those different ones because every time you go and you see S2G pop off, you go hear that Turkish broadcast turn up. You know?
Definitely.
Oh, man.
They absolutely pop off for it. And I will say, on the point of S2G here for a moment, I think there's questions that they need to answer, especially in this tournament. They absolutely want those top 7 spots. I'll tell you for why. Yes, world champions. However, in their region,
हमारे वाले
coming in
50
from Turkish
रुपए
region,
वाले
they
screen
didn't
पे अटक रहे
qualify for the
होते हैं।
championships, which does raise some questions as to the
ये
world
देखो,
champions
ये
couldn't
कहाँ से
qualify
मिलेगा
in
यार,
just
ये
the
पीछे
regions
जो
alone, regionals
M
alone.
लिखा
So
होता है।
getting top spots here for SUG is extremely important to quell the doubters a little bit.
And they had 88 points going into this. 7th place is 92, so that is not a lot of difference at all. It's only 4.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Seven,
STG are 100% in the running to move on to that main stage and that big prize pool coming up. So, next zone, about to pop. Let's see who is going to get favored. We can see Gladiators all the way up in the
Like
north
और
by water
subscribe कर
treatment,
देना
still up in
यार।
the blue zone.
Big wide wraps, and it's not going to work out.
Hey,
That's a
आइए पे चला
huge
गया
shift
वो।
to the south. To Los Leones. Are we about to get
अब बहुत
The
कैंपिंग
Lions. We asked for it in the last
अब
match.
full
They
टपाटप
built
होगा
and we
भाई,
didn't get
full
it. And if we
camping
get
वाला
Los
scene।
Leones, that is the urban ending.
I'm gonna tell you guys right now. I'm gonna lift the veil on
अब
production
सब
here for
घुसेंगे
a
भाई
second.
लॉस लियोन्स में
As I
देखना।
said, urban ending. Hot Juke gave me the most evil
एक घर
smile
में चार
I've
चार
never seen anything like.
Oh, I want to see it because you know that zone's going to go all the way down to nothing. And I'll tell you what, this is actually a really good shift for the Falcons, right? They were all the way down by Minas del Valle, and now they're going to be able to go through that south side, wrap, and they're going to have that entire lay of the land in the south.
Yeah, for Los Leones is a weird city because generally we would use the advice of don't go into a city unless you know it's going to end there. Los Leones, 1, is huge, so it already encompasses a lot of this circle. 2, actually there are some decent paths out of Los Leones to be able to survive if you're kind of being battered from those extremities. So it doesn't act like most cities. It is a very, very different dynamic you're seeing compared to a Picardo, a Minas Generalis, etc.
100%, yeah. In Los Leones, there are some sneaky areas where you can hide some vehicles because you definitely want to keep them just in case that zone goes away from Los Leones, like you mentioned a little bit earlier. So such a vast city. It's going to be cool to see teams hold, but it's also going to be very scary for these squads entering because there could be players in every single window.
That's why you're seeing so many teams, if you're watching the map as well, commit straight away here. Yes, actually there's some good high grounds. We're seeing on the east side, for example, RA, you're seeing D plus Kia, try and kind of fan out across some of those high grounds near Los Leones, which do provide some great line of sight, but there's nothing quite like having buildings.
Oh no, there sure isn't. I mean, we're gonna see battles from the second floor, first, third, going like crazy footsteps where you can't even hear anything. Look at that Bensu. This is what I was talking about, right? There are some sneaky places where you can hide your vehicles, but if you don't and have them stick out, man, they're going to get blown up, and that's going to make it harder in the end game.
There's also some unbelievably high buildings as well. Technically, they don't provide much cover when you're all the way up there, but sometimes it's difficult for people to even get angles on what you can go on those extremely high locations. So you can use those as lookout towers, but you can use those as opportunities to blast bullets down on people. As Alpha 7 coming in, wide wrap, looking for that entrance on the east side.
Vamos! You can see that right there, saying, let's go.
Nice.
And let's see where they're going to head, because Alpha 7 always playing that edge of the circle. Next zone's about to pop. I want to see it. Come on, bring it to Los Leones. I want to see it dead center on it. If it goes south, I'll cry.
There's some warehouses down there. Ooh, half and half.
ओए BTR वालों के गए दो.
You know. Okay.
Oh man, that hurt. I mean, we could still see that northern shift, 100%. But this is actually, I'll tell you what, I may be saying whack, but Alpha 7 is saying, oh yeah, because that is a great circle for them.
Giving us the big macho man, I'm okay with it. We've got ourselves, as you say, Alpha 7, they've got a lot of room to play with this. Likewise, so is D plus Kia though, as they were spread out across this area. DRS, second place, looking to have 2 big pop-off games to try and catch up with Vampire here. They are going to be running and gunning. They've already got elimination points on the board here.
DBS versus M4, let's
salvage some points.
Yeah, 39-point difference for them, so they need to have a monster game. Definitely possible. We saw it a little bit earlier. Right? But let's see if it can happen here as World Esports Milos gets some nice shots. Tries to go for the double, but man, can't hit those on Ragnarok. That one's going to hurt.
Yeah, rocking up the way he did as well.
No.
Here comes the DBS, and he'll might find himself the double here Where is the last threat remaining? There's a vehicle to his west side. He's going to go for the heal up, but the thing is, while this is going on, there's the potential. Information's relayed, and they know his position.
This is a huge battle right now. This is between Aegon I8 and FaZe Clan. And FaZe Clan were forced to tuck their tail between their legs and run, and they're running into shots. So this is brutal. As FaZe Clan go out, they were in 10th place. That is a massive, massive fight for Aegon A8.
Yeah, there's a potential if some of the teams above you get just a few more points here for FaZe, then they might be just out of reach if they don't have an insane game in the next one. But DRS here looking for more elimination points. They're absolutely on the hunt. They want to try and strike out at #1 at the moment. They get themselves a few knocks on the board. If they take out R8, that's another good chunk of eliminations.
I love to see what DRS's strategy is. They're playing that edge. They're looking for those weak teams to soak up eliminations because they know what they need to do if they want to even have a chance at catching Vampire.
They're playing the Mad Max strategy. They are on Fury Road and they don't care who they run over at this moment, which is exciting to see because any team would be bamboozled by the idea of trying to catch up with Vampires at this point, but DRS is taking the challenge.
And they know that they have a little bit of buffer here, so the odds of D+Kia catching them are not that high, so they say, you know what, let's just go for it. And that's what I love to see. Teams mix it up, do whatever it takes to get the biggest prize pool that they can.
Gotta try, as we get now on board with iCurd, who have found themselves a few of these dilapidated buildings to try and get some shots off against Mazexis in the distance, but they're in some of the kind of multi-story buildings, so they'll have a lot of cover.
Next zone about to pop. Will it go up north or down south? This is going to be a huge circle shift for these teams, especially those teams in the center right now. Not just of the map, but on the leaderboards. They need a favorable zone, and it is going to go south. So Alpha 7, even S2G, Team Falcons in a really good spot here.
This is where the caves are.
Oh, that's right.
You wanted this.
I wanted this. Okay, I may have said caves in Sandhawk.
You liked that,
but I wouldn't mind to see some cave action in Miramar.
That would be wild if that did occur.
It's first.
Well, I think it might be a first for me as well. I'm trying to think. Anyway, regardless, let's talk about the actual game at hand here, as there will still be battles going on in Los Leones, because eventually at this point, everyone's realizing, okay, our gambit of committing to Los Leones, it's not going to work out. How do we get out of here?
Yeah, and now those teams right south of Los Leones are licking their chops because all eyes are in that direction. They're looking to soak up as many points as they can. You got Gladiators there on the left side of the zone. Not to mention you got Infinity IQ right at the edge of Los Leones. So let's see how this is going to play out. We can still look at R8 doing the wide wrap right into the zone. And they're running right into D+Kia.
Yes, they are, and they need to stay alive as long as possible here.
No.
And that's going to be a spin out. You already talked about previous games about how quickly buggers will spin out like that, and you're just easy pickings from there on. Ragnarok goes down to 7-9.
The 7-9, but I think that is D+Kia.
Oh, the steal.
Stealing a major point for them. So good on them to be able to get that 7-9. You know, kicking some rocks right there. But D+Kia are definitely need those points more than that.
If you're Prestige, he's the last remaining of R8. He could actually find himself a cheeky spot here because of what we've previously been talking about with how all the terrain and underground actually works here. So there's a world they could still survive for a while.
Let's see if he has the heads up.